Americans are already feeling the squeeze, from the soaring cost of living to rising healthcare expenses and the constant struggle of stretching fixed incomes each month. Now, a significant legal battle in the Supreme Court could create even more instability in people's financial lives. Former President Trump is pushing to gain the authority to fire the head of the Federal Reserve, the very person who plays a crucial role in managing interest rates. If this effort succeeds, it could spark major shifts in mortgage rates, loan costs, and even the job market's stability. And as history shows, when the economy moves too quickly, those relying on Social Security or living off savings are often the first to feel the impact. This legal case is about far more than just who's in charge. It challenges protections that have long helped keep the U.S. financial system steady. So let's unpack what's really going on, how it could affect your personal finances, and why now is the time to start paying close attention. Currently before the Supreme Court is a case known as Trump versus Wilcox. This is part of a broader effort by Trump's administration to expand presidential power, specifically the ability to remove certain federal officials without restriction. Traditionally, leaders of independent government agencies have some legal protection from being removed at the president's whim. That was intentional. Congress created these protections to ensure these agencies could operate without political influence. The logic was simple. If an agency is meant to function independently, its leaders shouldn't be removed just because they disagree with the president. This idea stems from a 1935 Supreme Court ruling known as Humphrey's Executor, which established that certain officials can only be fired for just cause. These officials often work in roles intended to be free from everyday politics, such as those at the Federal Trade Commission, the SEC, and the Federal Reserve. This brings us to the heart of the issue. President Trump is asserting that he should have the authority to dismiss officials like Kathy Harris of the Merit Systems Protection Board and Gwen Wilcox of the National Labor Relations Board. If the court agrees and dismantles nearly a century of legal limits, the same rationale could be used to remove the chair of the Federal Reserve. Now you might wonder, why should I care about the Fed chair? Well, the current chair, Jerome Powell, holds one of the most powerful positions in the U.S. economy. He helps determine where interest rates go. When rates rise, borrowing becomes more expensive, affecting credit cards, car loans, and home mortgages. When rates drop, borrowing is easier, but inflation can rise if the change happens too quickly. It's a delicate balancing act, one that's meant to be handled independently of political pressure. But if the president gains the power to fire the Fed chair at will, that balance could unravel. We've seen similar interference before. In the 1970s, President Nixon pressured his Fed chair to lower rates before an election to boost the economy. It worked temporarily, but inflation skyrocketed afterward, hurting everyday Americans. On a related note, if you're feeling overwhelmed by the complexity of Medicare, you're not alone. That's why we've partnered with Chapter, a service that offers clear, personalized Medicare support. Their licensed advisors take the time to understand your unique needs, whether it's finding the right doctors, prescriptions, or plans that fit your lifestyle. Most users save around $1,100 annually, and it's completely free. Plus, their care advocates are available to help with claims and plan changes. You can call 615-639-1937 or visit askchapter.org/money to learn more. Back to the big picture. If Trump's legal push succeeds, Jerome Powell's current term, which runs through May 2026, may not offer much protection. The only thing stopping his early removal is the same rule being challenged. If Humphrey's executor is overturned, the president could fire Powell and install someone more aligned with his political goals, and this is where it could directly affect you. A new Fed chair with a political agenda might slash rates to give a short-term economic boost. That could temporarily lower your loan or mortgage payments. But if rates fall too fast, inflation usually follows. Grocery bills, gas prices, rent, all could climb quickly. On top of that, if markets lose faith in the Fed's independence, we could see stock market turbulence and setbacks for retirement savings. Borrowing could also become unpredictable. 1 month, auto loan rates may look favorable, and the next, lenders might pull back due to uncertainty. Much of this depends on confidence. Confidence that the Fed will make decisions based on economic data, not politics. Not everyone sees this push for presidential control as dangerous. Some legal scholars argue that presidents should have more authority over executive branch officials. After all, voters elect the president, not the heads of independent agencies. In their view, a president should be able to remove those who resist his policies. In fact, the Supreme Court has already started to chip away at Humphrey's executor in recent rulings. But the Federal Reserve isn't like most agencies. Even experts who favor more presidential power admit the Fed might require special treatment. That's because it performs both highly technical tasks and decisions with massive real-world consequences, like curbing inflation and protecting jobs. If political motives start driving Fed decisions, it's ordinary people who bear the cost. So what should you do right now? Keep a close eye on interest rates, especially if you're planning to buy a home, refinance, or pay off debt. Any major changes to the Fed's independence could destabilize those rates. And if you're investing or saving for retirement, even subtle shifts in the Fed's leadership could cause market reactions that hit your bottom line. Ultimately, our financial system depends on trust. Trust that decisions are made based on facts, not political agendas. The system isn't perfect, but for decades, presidents from both parties have generally respected the Fed's autonomy. There's still a possibility that the Supreme Court may choose to delay a major ruling. Some analysts believe the justices might move the case to their regular calendar instead of fast-tracking it. That would slow things down and give the nation more time to understand the implications. Still, the debate is officially underway, and the outcome could significantly shift the balance of power in the U.S. economy. At its core, this isn't just about politics. It's about the future of your rent, your loans, your investments, and your financial security. Thanks for sticking around and diving deep into this important issue. It might not make daily headlines, but it absolutely deserves your attention. What do you think? Should the president have the power to fire the Fed chair, or should that decision stay free from political influence? If this helped you understand the situation better, feel free to like or share it so more people can stay informed. Take care, and see you next time.